Today, we're diving into a technique that could honestly change how you work. It's called the 25-minute focus fix. But let me just ask you something straight up. Can you really focus for just 25 minutes? I mean, really focus. No checking your phone, no glancing at emails, no getting up for a snack. Just pure, uninterrupted concentration. Because if you can do that, well, that is literally all you need to change your life. I know, it sounds almost too simple, right? But that little window of time is the secret behind a world-famous productivity system. So where did this kind of magic number even come from? You might think it was cooked up in some high-tech lab, but nope. The real story is so much more down to earth. It all started in a kitchen, of all places. Picture this. It's the late 1980s. There's this university student, Francesco Sorello, and he's struggling with something we've all been through. He just could not focus on his studies. So in this moment of total desperation, he looks around and grabs the first thing he sees, a tomato-shaped kitchen timer. He made a pact with himself, just 25 minutes of pure, focused work. And that one tiny decision, it kicked off a whole productivity revolution. And yep, that's exactly how the technique got its name. Pomodoro is just the Italian word for tomato. It's kind of perfect, right? It just goes to show you that some of the most powerful ideas have the absolute simplest beginnings. Okay, so how can you actually use this in your day-to-day life? Well, it all comes down to something called the 25-5 rule. This is the heart and soul of the Pomodoro Technique. And the cycle is brilliantly simple. Step 1, you choose one single task, just one. Step 2, you set a timer for 25 minutes. Step 3, you work on that task, and only that task, with intense focus till the timer dings. And when it does, Step 4, you take a 5-minute break. You've earned it. Get up, stretch, whatever. Then, Step 5, you just repeat the whole thing. After you've done about 4 of these Pomodoros, you get to treat yourself to a longer break, maybe 15 to 30 minutes. Now, here's the golden rule, the most important part. During those 25 minutes, there are 0 distractions. Seriously, that time is sacred. If some other brilliant idea pops into your head, just jot it down for later. If someone interrupts you, politely say you'll get back to them in a bit. You have to think of that timer as a non-negotiable contract with your focus. No cheating. Okay, I know what you're thinking. It sounds almost too easy, right? So why does it actually work so well? What is the psychology going on here that makes a simple kitchen timer so darn powerful? Well, it all comes down to a really cool principle called time boxing. See, instead of vaguely saying, I'll work on this report today, you're making a super specific commitment. You're saying, I will work on this report for the next 25 minutes, and that's it. You're literally putting that task inside a neat little box of time. And this little time box does something fascinating to your brain. It creates what's called artificial urgency. All of a sudden, you have a deadline. It's not some far-off date. It's a finish line that's just minutes away. And that is what kicks your brain into high gear. This is the perfect weapon against something called Parkinson's Law. You've probably experienced it. It's the idea that work just expands to fill whatever time you give it. Give yourself a whole day to do one task, and somehow it takes the whole day. But if you give yourself just 25 minutes, you force yourself to be focused, to be efficient. You shrink the time, and you shrink the task. Think about the huge mental shift here. Without a timer, a big project can feel like this giant, insurmountable mountain, right? It's so intimidating that it's just easier to procrastinate. But with a timer, that mountain suddenly becomes a series of small, totally manageable hills. The finish line is always in sight, which makes taking that very first step so much easier. And here's another cool thing. It basically turns your work into a game. The timer, that's your opponent. Your mission is to beat the clock with one solid session of focus. And every time you finish a 25-minute cycle, you win. And when you win, your brain gives you a little hit of dopamine, that feel-good chemical. This creates this awesome positive feedback loop that actually makes you excited to start the next round. So, when you boil it all down, what's the big takeaway here? It's that productivity is not about grinding for hours and hours on end until you're completely burnt out. The whole philosophy is this. Productivity isn't about working for 10 hours straight. It's about working smarter in these short, intense bursts. It's all about the quality of your focus, not the quantity of your hours. Those sprints, followed by actual rest, are a way more sustainable and way more effective path to getting things done. So I'm going to leave you with a challenge. Forget about that giant, overwhelming to-do list for just a second. What could you accomplish with just one focused 25-minute session right now? Master your time, master your mind. Subscribe to the Psych Daily for daily insights. See you tomorrow.